What's up guys? I'm Editor James. More and more electric vehicles are manufactured every day. And today I brought you Kia Niro EV. And it's my second time test driving Niro. Last time it was hybrid, but today I wonder what EV is like. Alright, as always, I'm gonna start with the front. Well, one thing about Kia Niro is that I'm sorry for the first generation owners, but second generation, it looks gorgeous. I'm sorry. It's all personal taste, but the first generation, I don't know. Every time I see the first generation Kia Niro, it reminds me of a fish head. So I'm sorry, but compared to the first generation, second generation Kia Niro looks just adorable. Look at overall the front design. Isn't it look amazing? It reminds me of Iron Man, Transformer, all kinds of a futuristic robotic design. And I think they are just beautiful. The only difference that I can find between the hybrid model and the EV model is the grille right here, and then we have a charging port right in the center. Of course, a hybrid, you don't have to like plug in and charge, so we didn't have the charging port in the front. But yes, since this is an EV model, it has a charging port right in the center. All you gotta do is just press it and plug the port right, just plug it right in the port, and that's how you're gonna charge it. Yeah, just wanted to show you that. And as for the hybrid model, it was grilled, but instead, since this is an EV model, we don't really have a grill. Yes, it's not really open, but it's just kind of closed with a jewel pattern. So since the battery is located on the lower bottom part of the vehicle, so here, as you can see, only the lower part is actually open. The rest of the places is all closed. And I especially like the design of this headlamps. All this LED and all this like little detailed designs. I think they look amazing. Just a personal opinion. Kia cars, like overall design is so much better than Hyundai and Genesis. That's just my personal opinion. All right, let's go to the center. All right, I'm on the side. The first thing that I always review when I'm doing on the side is the wheels and tires. All right, so this is a 17-inch equipped with a 215/55 Kumo Solus tire. Even on the bottom right here, this is a two-toned. But you know what? I think the cityscape green and black, they match pretty well. You know, to be honest, the color black, it matches really well with pretty much every other color. So I think it was a really good choice. But one thing I still don't understand is the C-pillar. You know what? Only C-pillar right here, difference in color. Like everything else is green, but only the C-pillar is black, the glossy black. And the funny thing is, you actually have to pay extra money for this. You will see a slight, like a thin air hole. I wouldn't say air hole, but like, you know, the ventilation. So I think what it does is that the air goes in here and it comes out through right next to the tail lamp. So I'm pretty sure they designed this way to make it more aerodynamic. And take a look at the tail lamps. You know what? Very first time when I saw this tail lamp, it reminded me of the Volvo as well. So I think it's somewhat overlapping, but Kia has their own identity. So I wouldn't say, oh, they copied off from Volvo. I mean, a lot of cars these days, they share many things, many devices. Even some designs are overlapped. So I wouldn't say, oh, they copied from Volvo or any other car manufacturers. But you know what, to be honest with you, Kia has been producing really great cars, and especially the design wise, I think they are just doing an amazing job. All right, the blue license plate tells you that this is an electric vehicle. In Korea, if you are driving 100% electric vehicle, the license plate is blue. All right, to open the trunk, there's a little button underneath the Kia emblem. All you have to do is press it and it opens it. And this is a small SUV considered, compared to like, Sportage or the Sorrentos and, Mojaves and all that. But that doesn't mean it has a small trunk space. And underneath it, let me see. Alright, so as you can see, no more spare tires these days. Instead, we have a tire mobility kit or tire repair kit, if you want to call it. You can actually lower this. So what you can do is you can just basically pull it, right? And slide it in underneath it. So now I have more space to store things. So this is how much taller it has gotten. You can just pull the lever on each side and then simply just push it in. So yes, that way you have more space. I don't think I can really lay down, but if you want to, or if you really need to, yeah, I guess you can. And to recline it back, you go to the rear seat, hey, and yes, just push it back, that's it. Do you know how to tell if this is an electric vehicle? Take a look at the floor. Well, this is not 100% flat, right? But it's almost flat. Flat floor means more space for your leg to rest. And take a look at this. The driver's seat, this is my driving position, and this is how I'm sitting in the rear. Yes, I am 5'11", and I spiked up my hair just a little bit, but it doesn't touch it. Alright, so sitting in the back, I see that we have the ventilation that I can get cold air, or inner time, the hot air. Wow, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was so rare even to have all these air vents in the back, but now almost every car that people drive have the rear ventilation. So yes, this is really, really handy. Alright, so take a look at the headrest right here. We have a small gap right here, so which will actually allow you or makes your life easier to hang your clothes using a hanger. So basically when you have a hanger, hang your clothes and just place it right there. And one thing I like about Kia cars, lots of charging ports. So here, yes, Type C, right? Here on each side. So yes, many ports to charge your smart devices. Alright, so again, I want to show you the V12. The V12 is placed right in the center in the rear seat. So like I said, what you can do is you can basically bring your home appliances or electronic devices that you want to use at home. For example, you have a notebook. So while you're going somewhere, maybe you need to work on something, but the battery will run out. So what you can do is basically bring your charging port right here. We have a charging port right here. So basically all you can do is just plug it in and charge it as you are using it or when you are not using it. So this is something that is very handy for driving an electric vehicle. Alright guys, so here I'm in the front again, and this is where you can charge your car, right? As well as using the V12. So simply just press the cab, right? Open this, and if you want to charge your car, just plug it in. Open this, connect it, and here. So all you gotta do is basically just bring your home appliances or electric devices, just to plug it in, and you are set to use any electronic devices outside the car. Alright, so now I'm sitting in the driver's seat. Alright, again, just like sitting in a hybrid car, the steering wheel is the first thing always catches my eyes, but every time I look at the steering, it reminds me of Iron Man. I don't know why, but really nice and handy. Alright, so behind the steering wheel is the cluster and the infotainment system. And I think the size of this infotainment system is about 10.25 inch across, so for your convenience. So when you swipe it, you can reach to all these functions, right? So we have an EV, map, navigation, phone, and all this stuff. And the next page, we have a radio, DMB, you know, sort of the thing. And as for the clusters, I wouldn't say it would a problem, but I think they should make a distinguished clusters. Depends on what kind of vehicles you are driving, because Kia, all the Kia cars has same cluster and same design. So even if you're driving K8 or K9 or K5, K3 and all them, right? They have same cluster and the same design. So I think that's something that Kia needs to work on. But anyway, the drive mode is right underneath the horn. So if I press it, now I'm on eco mode, but if I press it, go to normal mode, press one more time, go to sports. I was reading this. Yeah, so you can see the graphic and color changes. So it helps you to know that which mode you are, on. And HUD wasn't optional. I mean, this car right here, the one that we are testing today, this is a full option, but HUD, I believe, is an optional. Right in the center. Yes, I gotta tell you a funny story. Look, like right now I'm on a climate control mode, but last time I didn't know how to use this because it was at this mode. So I was like, oh, how do I control, the air conditioner? I didn't know. So, but if you press this button right here, I mean, it doesn't give you feedback, but it gives you beeping sound. And in the center, the dial type, the gear are really trendy these days. And here, all these buttons on the side, heated seat, the cooling seat, heated steering wheel, auto hold. Yeah, it's really amazing. And right in the center, 2 cup holders. I guess, yeah, you can push it back. And if you want to just press this button, there's a divider comes down. So, yeah. All right, I'm on the passenger seat now. I just wanted to show you the relaxation button. All right, so if you press this button, right, you will see a sign. Make sure there's enough space in the rear seat. So again, you press it one more time. Yes, it gives you the most comfortable position in the passenger seat. So let's just say you are going somewhere, and if you're really tired, you need to take a nap or something. Yes, just press a button. It gives you the most comfortable position that one can have in the passenger seat. And if you want to sit up, all you gotta do is just press the button one more time. But you gotta hold it down a little bit. So it gives you, yes, back to the original position. Even my fat butt can be lifted, so yes, please don't worry. This is pretty cool stuff. All right, now most fun part of the test drive. Road test, let's go. All right, well, just like any other electric vehicle, it's super quiet. And the sound of the electric vehicle still makes me feel weird, but I guess I'm okay. I'm very used to it now. So when most of the people are considering purchasing an electric vehicle, they worry that what's the distance that one can drive once it's fully charged. I think that's probably the biggest consideration that one has to make. And another one is the charging time, right? So these days, like, cars like Tesla, Genesis and all them, they provide like a fast charging system. So it takes like less than 20 minutes to charge up to 80% or so. But as for Kia Niro, it takes about 45 minutes to charge from 10% to 80%. I wouldn't say this is a slow, because that's what electric cars usually take to charge their cars. But as for Genesis and like cars like Tesla, they are abnormally fast. So yes, I mean, the one thing about electric vehicle is that you can, charge anywhere you want, as long as they have a like electric, city, right? Even at home, right? So yeah, here in Korea we can go to like a e-pit or any other electric, city charging system. But yeah, it takes about 45 minutes. So I think the problem may arise if there are many people who want to charge their cars at the same location. But charging time itself, I mean, let's just say you are driving from Seoul to Busan. It takes about 400 kilometers, 450 kilometers. That's approximately 300 miles, right? So yeah, I mean, in between, you're gonna have to stop at the rest stop, eat, use bathrooms and everything. So it takes at least like, 30, 40 minutes anyway. So I wouldn't say 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I wouldn't say it's very slow. But I would rather say like, any other cars that has a eGMP platform, they're abnormally fast. So just wanted to tell you that. Once it is fully charged, you can drive up to 401 kilometers. So that's slightly less than 300 miles. I would say about 280 miles, anywhere in between. 280 miles and 285 miles, something like that. Well, like if you're driving like a diesel or gasoline, we would say fuel efficiency, but I guess since this is an EV, right, I would say it's an electricity efficiency, right? So it's about 5.3 kilometer per kilowatts an hour. So yeah, I don't know what it actually is, but that's what it says. So unless you are driving for a long distance, I wouldn't really know, or I wouldn't actually feel it myself. But that's what the brochure says. So just wanted to inform you that. And about the performance, well, it has 150 kilometers, kilowatts of power, and the torque is a 255 Newton meter. So yeah, what I know is that it's a slightly less or slightly less than the previous generation Kia Niro electric vehicle. So even though torque has gotten lower compared to the first generation, because Kia has managed to use the wider range of the motor, right? It actually uses a higher revolution. So even though you have a less torque compared to the first generation, 0 to 60s and any other performance that one can think of is almost identical. I wouldn't say it's a slower or anything, but it's almost identical. It's probably almost the same anyway. So yes, that's what Kia has done so far to the second generation Kia EV, Niro EV. And every time I drive an electric vehicle, it just amazes me how quiet it is. So I think people have probably invented the active sound, because I think if you are driving electric vehicle without any sound for a long time, I think it will make me crazy. So I would rather listen to music or deactivate sound. So just wanted to let you know that this car, even though it's an SUV, it's a super quiet, super sensitive. Yeah, even the brake is very, very responsive. Like it's responding so fast. Just putting my foot right on the brake pedal, it gives you immediate response. So yeah, it's really nice. Just like a driving hybrid, I mean, when it's in an electric mode, it was super quiet, but now this car is always at electric mode. So it's quiet at all time. Alright, let me make a big UE so I can accelerate. Let's see how fast this baby can go, or how fast it can accelerate. Alright, well, I'm gonna make a U-turn, and then there are a couple speedy bumps, but I'm not gonna stop, or I'm not gonna hit the brake, just go over the speedy bump. So let me see how it responds or how it reacts to it. But some people say Kia Niro EV is more comfortable, but to me, all right, well, you didn't see me bounce back and up, bounce off of my seat. So yeah, I mean, the suspension these days are amazing, I think. But anyway, continuing from what I said, some people say Kia Niro EV is a bit more comfortable compared to a hybrid model, but to me, it's the same. I can't really tell the difference, but I don't know. Maybe they feel more comfortable because it's more quiet, I guess. I don't know, but to me, it's the same. But what amazes me is that the brake, it responds really, really fast, and even going over the speed bumps, yes, it was really nice and smooth. So yeah, I cannot believe this is a small SUV. But all right, now I'm gonna floor it to see how fast it can go. It's a small beast. Fun. I mean, I wouldn't say, wow, it's super fast, but yeah, it's fast enough. It's fast enough to give you pleasure once in a while. Of course, safe driving is the most important, but yes, I think compared to the hybrid model, it's a bit faster. I can tell that. But of course, when it comes to speed, EV6 always wins. EV6 has been my favorite. But anyway, let me take a better road. Do you hear any noise inside the car? And I'm pretty sure it's blocking all the noise from outside, so I think this is a double layer too. Yeah, and I just opened the window. You see all the noise? Now it's closed. It's almost completely blocked. But right now, yes, LKA, like lane keeping assistance, is activated. So every time I try to switch without, giving signal, it gives you a sound, like a beeping sound, which means, hey, stay within the lane. So it's the one thing that helps you, to your safe driving. All right, well, another thing that I wanted to add is that many of the electric vehicles are rear-wheel based, right? And as an option, you can upgrade to four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, right? It depending on the models. But, ironically, this car is front-wheel based, and I don't think they provide a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. But Korea is a country with 4 seasons, and yes, it rather snows a lot in the winter time. And I don't know, many of you who live in area where it snows a lot in the winter time, you might have experienced that without four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and it's pretty tough to manage your driving in the snow. And if you're driving a rear-wheel vehicle like my BMW, yes, in wintertime it's almost impossible to drive when it snows heavily. So I usually take subway or public transportations. But like I said, this car is a front wheel based, so I wouldn't say it's safe, but I would say it's rather more comfortable to drive than rear wheel based car. All right, another cool thing that electric vehicles have is the regenerative system. So in this case, Kia has this thing called iPedal. All right, so using a pedal shifter right here, you can activate iPedal. So what it does is that, to make your car move front, or, to make your car go, you have to put your foot on the accelerator. But if you let go of the accelerator, it slows down and it charges your battery. So yeah, like when you are driving within a city, like, it's always congested and there are so many cars, and then you have to constantly use the accelerator and the brake, back and forth. But instead, if you have, the iPedal, like right now, let me put this on the max. I'm not even using brake, but it slows down, So at the same time, it charges your battery. So I think it's like, catching a bird, catching 2 birds with 1 stone, and it's really handy too. So if once you are very used to using this function, even like right now, yeah, I'm not even using brake, but the car slows down, and then, yeah, and it comes to a complete stop. Yeah, if you're very used to using iPedal, it's also very economical. Why? It charges the battery and you don't have to use your brake as much. How convenient is that, you know? Today, I got a chance to drive a Kia Niro EV. EV is very ideal as long as your infrastructure is taken care of. Kia Niro is not only economical, but also very practical. So if one is looking for an SUV that is very economical and practical, Kia Niro might be the one that you're looking for. So when you get a chance, please test drive it yourself at the local dealer. I mean, test driving yourself is always better than just watching a review. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll come back with a better review next time.